Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome, I'm so glad to have you join me today. I appreciate each and every one of my viewers and I hope that you'll subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Today's video is a requested video and several of you asked for help with layering and you also asked for templates or sketches. So card sketches are something that you can Google and you'll see all sorts of different ideas. I don't have a printer. So I don't necessarily have like a book of sketches or that kind of thing. I keep some in my brain and every once in a while I might look one up online, but mostly I get sidetracked because then I put my iPad on something else and I don't have a picture of it. But one of my favorites that I use all the time is this. So when you look at this card, if you like it, keep watching. Same here. And all it is I've divided the front of the card base in thirds and layered it up. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Right here, these, you'll notice, are the exact same papers. So I've made two completed cards quickly here to show you, and then I have the papers here. And then I have, I know, measurements from me. It's amazing. I'm showing you this because I want to help you be less afraid and have you move forward. I don't want you to think that you have to measure, but sometimes I do. And part of the reason I measure is because I like to use 6x6 pads, as you guys know. Today we're using Splendor because I bought mine. I've recently used Tea Lightful and I have probably 20 more in waiting. These measurements efficiently use 6x6 pads and help me with my assembly line processes, but they can also help you just make one card as a new card maker. So let me talk you through it. The first thing I do is I do not use this white part. We call the card base. I don't start there unless I'm making a single layer card where I'm stamping and printing on the card base. If I'm doing a layered card, I don't even make these or get them out of the cupboard till the end. The place I start is what I call the base layer. And I cut it 5 1/4 by 4 inches because that gives me a nice border on each side. And I don't like to use 1/8 measurements very much because most cutters don't have the grid of 1/8, they just have it in quarters. So if you use my measurements, you're going to end up with borders like this very often. So I start here with this piece of paper, okay? 5 1/4 by 4. If you're using the cheapo 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock from Michael's or Joann or wherever, you can pick up a package of this for a couple dollars on sale. If you're spending $6, you're splurging. You should be using a coupon or getting it on sale. Then, this is the part I always forget, you guys, and do this. Before you assemble your cards, I'll tell you honestly, I forgot to do it here. Take a punch like this. This one's kind of big. It could be this one. On this one, I'm going to take a die cut out of it. Oh shoot, I forgot that was the annoying kind. You have to snip the flower out. Okay, all we're doing is using our paper effectively, efficiently, and having more embellishments to use because these back card bases are not going to show. So you can use, I didn't have it handy. I must have set it somewhere. This, I could have punched this out of the back cardstock. I have these two. It doesn't matter. But if you're tight on paper, or you want to be efficient, or you just want to have a nice pile of embellishments to work with when you go to layer up your cards, take punches out of them. Now, you take these pieces, I cut them 2 1/2 by 5 and 1 1/4 by 5. So I have my 5 1/4 black line base right here. That's my teal paper. Then I have a piece of paper that's 2 1/2 by 5 and 1 1/4 by 5. And here, 2 1/2 by 5, 1 1/4 by 5. I lay these right on top. I glue them down. You'll never know that I punched the holes out of them, right? That's just more effective for later. Can't see one single bit. You won't feel it. Nobody will know. Now, I'm going to glue these down, but I want to show you up close. This is the same exact paper and the same idea. So one thing that I bet is happening to you is you're looking at it at this phase going, I don't know if I like those two papers together. It feels kind of lopsided on this side. There's not a lot going on here. Remember, you can embellish it to dress it up. You're going to change the look of this card. Look how different those two look in the end, and they're the same exact papers. Okay, cut from the same paper pad, everything. The same idea here. If I didn't lose the parts. I'm so messy, you guys, it's hilarious. Okay, here we go. So these I put on the left. This one I switched it up just to make it more interesting for you. I'm going to zoom you back out a little bit. So I flipped them this way. So if you were making a whole bunch of cards in a set and you wanted them to look different, you could switch left and right. It also looks like I might have miscut that one a little bit, so it's a little more narrow. See how I have a wider band? Oh, this is a great one for you guys to see. Okay, two things can happen here. I can just go, that's how I meant for it to be, center it and call it good. Or I can move these a little farther apart. If it's super important to me to have that, I can move them farther apart. I can put a strip of paper down that, just like I did here. Or I can put washi, whatever. I don't care. So I'm going to just squish them together. But I was probably talking and cutting, or that's not the piece. It just happens to be close to it. That could also be the case because I moved stuff around. I'm going to grab some adhesive and glue these down and then show you a couple tricks that I do next. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's your style, whatever you like. It depends on what you have in your stash, what kinds of paper you're using. If I'm using maybe embellishments with a lot of crazy colors, maybe if I made more flowers, right, and they were really loud and rowdy and I'd used a bunch of printed papers, maybe I would want to use more neutral papers. If I was using really, really loud, rowdy embellishments, I might use more neutral, solid things for my papers. What I do, that one, I did not like that paper. I don't know if you guys have Splendor and you think that's your favorite one. I typically like more organic and asymmetrical things in general. I like my jewelry, my yard, that way. If that's not your style, take this idea and adapt it, but maybe you want a perfect split down the middle. Maybe you're not concerned with like the design concept of a third. I'm not just concerned with design concepts, but I know what I like, and I like asymmetrical things. In the end, they're almost always my favorite. If you aren't sure if you cut them the right size, be sure and glue both sides down together so you can figure out your border. And the swans, if it's a large shape, like in Splendor, there are cuckoo clocks, swans, and wreaths. The cuckoo clocks and the swans, I would probably try, I'm going to leave a space in the middle maybe. I would probably try to make those in the larger strip, just because if you cut a 1-inch strip of swans, it might be kind of scary looking, you guys. Okay, there. Then, when I cut my 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper for my cheap paper, I end up with these perfect 1/2-inch strips right here. So I'm going to cut 1 to 5 inches. It might be a little short because my cutter is not flat. It's sitting on a chair. It's a little short. We're going to use it anyway because we're talking and I want to keep this moving. Then I'm just going to put a dab of art glitter glue. Sometimes when I watch videos, I'm like, people, we probably don't need that much glue. I mean, you don't need like a ton, and you're going to layer stuff on top of it. It'll all work out. Okay, so my point of showing you the papers before and then finished cards that look the same is I think you're probably being too hard on yourselves. Because what I'm hearing is you don't know how to match up papers. They don't go together. You're just not comfortable layering papers. And what I'm challenging you to do is take a paper pad and try it. Just try it. There are different brands that do a little better job. Let me show you. This is my Mind's Eye pad. If you look at this paper, it's similar color families. There's not like a nightmare of stuff going on in there that doesn't go together, okay? There are some paper pads. Okay, here's another example. This one, every paper in this you could mix and match and they'd be great together. Okay, this Bow Bunny, Alice in Wonderland one, not so much. Look at these. These are like primaries. And then you've got the red. Then you've got some like royals and stuff going on. And this is after Andy Mess took out all her stuff. Hey, by the way, she started a YouTube channel. She's in the early stages, though. I don't know if she wants you to know that. This one, Echo Park, they're really good at making mix and match collections. The colors go together. Some people have a lot of different stuff in them. So if you have a paper pad where things go together and it was a matchy-matchy collection, don't be afraid to match them up. Okay, you can put swans and flowers and stripes. I'm probably going to put cuckoo clocks later and some flowers. I'm going to mix and match and go crazy. So I just wanted you to be able to see how they come together. Then I do these two different ways. One of my favorite tricks, and the reason that I don't hook this down to the card base, so especially this one, it's a little floppy. I was talking, there's stuff over it. I'm going to take washi and I'm going to wrap it around the back. That's one of the reasons I don't like to put things together too soon. Oh, that, and let me show you one other one. Okay, so I'm just going to put the washi right down there and then wrap it around the back. It's thin. We don't have to trim it. Nada. We have a nice little shine right there. This one I used a glittery washi, and they're not the same. I mean, this is like a greenish blue. This is a blue. The world didn't end. This one will be fine because here's some stuff I have laying over here. I could take a bunch of these flowers. I have a cutout right here. I could take this and put it on there and put a happy birthday. This one right here, I could put a little banner coming out that says happy birthday or thank you. I just left it to show you. Here are a bunch more samples of the same exact idea that I wanted to show you. This side is macaroons, this side is teacups. You can see I've divided it with a strip of paper and embellished it. Macaroons and stripes, embellishment. If you watch the Tea Lightful cards video that I posted a week or more ago, you're going to see all of these. And those of you who saw these said, I want to see some templates. Hoping you wanted to see this. So all these doilies are laying on top of the same idea. These are cut aparts from the pad. If a pad has cut aparts, I do the same template and then put them over the top. So you get the idea. And I do the sequence very differently when I'm making a big batch. I just did it this way today for you guys. If you like seeing this idea and seeing how you can take one card sketch and repeating it, and you want to see more of these, I'll show you more. I can also show you more ways that I use these exact measurements. And again, these measurements are 5 1/4 by 4 for the teal, 2 1/2 by 5 for this floral stripe, and 1 1/4 by 5 for the pink stripe. I hope this video was helpful, and if it generates more questions, leave me questions down below the video and I will be happy to help you. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you're taking time for crafting and relaxing. Bye-bye.